Vice President J.D. Vance says the UK has a good chance of securing a trade deal thanks to Trump's love of Britain. Joining me now is former Prime Minister Liz Truss. Madam Prime Minister, do you foresee the special relationship between our two countries being preserved?
I think there's a huge opportunity for a trade deal, and certainly when I was Trade Secretary, we tried to negotiate a deal with the first Trump administration. The problem was it got blocked by the blob in Whitehall. So I think Keir Starmer is going to need to be tough. He's going to need to take on various vested interests who need to stay close or want to stay close to the EU. But I think there is a deal to be done. And this time, what is different is because there are tariffs against the UK, people can see the real benefit of a trade deal. They can see our car industry benefiting. They can see our goods benefiting. So there's real pressure on Keir Starmer to do that deal. I think the question is he prepared to take on the people in Britain who are against it?
OK. You say, and I'm quoting now, Trump has been proven right about pretty much everything, end quote. OK, we see it in the Telegraph newspaper. How many people in Britain feel the same way?
I think lots of people do understand that. They can see, for example, we've just had this situation where our last steel blast furnace is being closed down. It was sold to the Chinese. It's failing because of high energy prices, because of net zero and the fact that Britain refused to do fracking. So people can see that Britain isn't working, but they don't want to admit that the points Trump made about illegal immigration, about China, about climate change alarmism are damaging our country. I think a lot of the general public understand that, but the political elite in Britain is still in denial, even though their strategy has led us into a very difficult economic situation, and it's led the West into decline.
The people who run Britain, we used to call them the mandarins, the state, the deep state.
They're still there.
They're still there. They really messed you up when you were Prime Minister. They really got in your way and stopped you doing anything. Do you think that Trump in America has gotten rid of the deep state and can now push things through?
I think the deep state is still there, and I think they're fighting back. And it's not just the bureaucracy. You can see what's happening with Wall Street. You can see what's happening with the economic elite, the fact that people are desperate to say there's about to be a recession in the United States. They weren't desperate to say that when Biden was in power. But I think Trump is absolutely right to be taking these vested interests on. But no one should underestimate how powerful these people are. What happened to me was that the Bank of England blamed me for their failings. And they had lots of friends in the media. They had lots of friends in the international financial elite. They were able to stack the system and weaponize the system against me. And what I can see happening with Trump is he is shaking things up. He's taking on the vested interests. The people who benefited for years and years have become dependent and reliant on China, have made money out of things like net zero, have pushed policies like DEI. Those people will continue to fight back. And I don't believe the battle will ever be over. I think there will be a constant battle to take those people on.
Got it. Liz Truss, thanks as ever for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Hope you can come back soon. Yeah, good thing. Thank you very much.